from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the nightmare, but when I stopped to see those eyes begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now, to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another week here. The Apex Auto Glass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championship Series presented by B&B Dirt Racing Simulators here on OSRM. My name is Bert Wojcik. Alongside me again this week is Dan Taylor, and also Drake York will be joining us here in our pre-race show. And boys, do we got to talk about last week's finish? I think something happened at the end of that race last week.
I don't think the drivers are done talking about last week.
I don't think either, but as you look here, we are, we're still in the state of Pennsylvania, so we have some blood to be shed. We did it in Central PA. We're going to do it on Western PA soil this week at the Lernerville Speedway out in Sarver, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh, the 410's mile track. Awesome track facility. It's a beautiful facility. When that place curves up, oh man, you got some great racing. But here's the thing. Like Williams Grove last week, it had some kinks to it. As Williams Grove was tight last week, this place is wide, but there is no wall around it, Dan, and that could make for some very, very interesting slide jobs come up tonight.
Just about the only track I've called races at in this area that doesn't have a wall is Crawford County Speedway in Denison, Iowa. It has a wall in 1 and 2. It doesn't in 3 and 4, and I absolutely love that because it adds a little bit more of racing on the edge of a knife feel to it, I think, for some of these drivers.
And Drake, you get to travel around the country here. You know, you go to places like Gas City and all them that don't have these walls. In Pennsylvania, we're not used to the place like this. So what kind of strategy do you think we'll have to see here tonight?
I mean, I don't think a lot of people really drive their two racetracks very differently, but you did mention places like Gas City. Funny story, I think the first track I really remember going to back home in all around is Calistoga, which is a big half mile. So this is pretty normal for me. It's kind of weird seeing all these racetracks with the walls around. It kind of feels like normal, but you know, I don't really think it adds a lot to it. I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier when you kind of miss your entry to the top in 1 and 2 or something like that. Not as much stuff to hit. So yes, it does throw in something different for it, but it is something different and it's a welcome challenge. Very
true, very true. Well, before we get into next week's or last week's events that took, actually we might get into it because we're waiting for our guest here, Aiden Beerline. He'll be joining us here in just a few moments on our pre-race show here. And yeah, let's get into last week, boys, because all right, let's just throw out the first, like the 95% of that race. All we need to talk about is that last lap.
Work of anybody was the flag man.
Yes. A lot of cautions. I think 12 cautions last week, but it was all worth for that finish between Tyler Schell and Alex Bergeron. Oh my God, did they? I still can't get over that finish. That's better than some finishes I've seen at the Grove. and it was absolutely insane, incredible, and we ended up with the disqualification.
Yeah, that definitely, like you said at the top of the show, really has some people still talk about it, but I think a lot of people kind of viewed it as, close racing, and you're going to have that sometimes, especially at the Grove coming down to the end. Bergeron I was really impressed with them, honestly. He was able to come back from those first, I believe it was like lap 2 or 3 or something like that. Issues came through the field, was working the bottom of the front stretch, which you don't really see a lot of anywhere, and just 2 drivers going for the same piece of real estate on the last lap at the Grove. It's going to happen. We've seen it in the past, whether it be in wing cars. You've seen it in the Silver Crown Series with USAC before. So it definitely, people will have their opinions on it, but it definitely was something worth talking about.
Absolutely. And Dan, we were talking about it there is like, it is worth talking about. But I mean, the racing, when we got racing there, when we got some runs going, that was a lot of fun.
It was a great night of racing. The heat races were phenomenal. The only thing that we can really say negative about the feature was the issues with the amount of cautions. I think that would have been one of the top races to ever watch, because if we could have stayed green and just watched these guys go at it, it would have made for one heck of a night of racing. But even with the cautions, that finish really helped out. That was a great race to watch. I had a lot of fun sitting back and listening to you and Drake call the race, and then trying to offer some opinions here and there. But the Williams Grove definitely put on one heck of a show last week for us.
Absolutely. Well, as we said, we had disqualification. Austin Selman ended up being the winner. He crossed the line in second place. But with the officials coming out, they gave Austin the win over Greg LeMay and Dylan Yeager. So that was your top 3. Meanwhile, we were talking about Bergeron. He got DQ'd. I'm not quite sure what his placing was in the field. But, that was a lot of people shocked when we were in victory lane there and the word came down that Bergeron was disqualified and Selman got the win.
Yeah, we were all kind of talking about it as after the race was over with, and I think all of us just basically unanimously agreed we're glad we didn't have to make the decision. Yeah, it's a tough one to make the call, but somebody had to, and I guess just offering my opinion, I felt like it was a racing deal, but you also got to, kind of police the future of that and make sure somebody doesn't start driving a little bit dirty and say, well, it was a racing deal on my part. I was just going for the spot, So maybe that was a call to kind of regulate some stuff in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and you're going to kind of have that with whatever series, from go-karts to World of Outlaws to F1 is a example of rules coming into play in racing. So
F1, really?
Yeah,
really? Are we going like a Massey out here?
Yeah, I know. I'm not a fan of the F1. Yeah, you'll have the F1 rules, but honestly, we're going to get rolling with our pre-race show here tonight at Lernerville Speedway.
Yeah, we can't wait to get this rolling here as we are waiting for Aiden Bertline to get loaded up in here, and we will have him on in just a few minutes here. And let's roll over the points here. I was just gonna give that call, Joe, if you could pull up the points for us real quick, and there they are up on your screen. As Tyler Schell continues to lead over Alex Bergeron, Aiden Bertline, who is running third in points right now, Logan Rumsey and Greg LeMay, and it kind of, you got almost a 20-point gap there between Schell and Bergeron, but I mean that can close up a little bit. But that was that DQ last week was absolutely heartbreaking for Bergeron, because he had a chance to really get up there and get a chance to even close up on Schell.
Well, and something we hadn't talked about, anybody that didn't watch that race, Bergeron went to the back early in that race, being involved in an accident, and came all the way from the back, survived all the cautions, survived all the wrecks, got back up into the front, and was contending for the lead with just 1 to go. And, unfortunately, officials felt like he moved up the racetrack and made contact. And so they flagged him and moved him back. Like you said, it doesn't look like he was sent to the rear of the field or at 0 points, because he's still right there in the point standings, just 20-some points behind Tyler.
Well, and if you think about it, the way they cross that start-finish line, we could be looking at a different points rate. Maybe Tyler Schell would still be in front, but I guarantee you it wouldn't be nearly as much as it is right now. And you still have Aiden Bertline back there in third. He was having a solid run up in there, if I'm not mistaken. But again, you look at those top 2. These guys have been at each other's throats all season, and it came to a culmination of the whole season right there down in turn 1 at the Grove.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's still weird because Bergeron, he has the most wins on the series right now with 3 wins. Shell only has 1, but Shell's consistency is paying off for him with that that 15-point lead, or 16-point lead, I should say.
Yeah, and that's
Wins
what they
are
talk
every-
about. Go ahead, Rick.
Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Okay, then we both said go ahead.
Live television, folks.
All of a sudden, it's a Canadian polite off.
Get your tuxedos on, boys.
Well, I actually kind of forgot what I was going to say, so go ahead, Rick.
Well, yeah, I forgot what I was going to go ahead too. We got that politeness fair, but, again, you also... I remember what I was going to say now, so I'm happy about that. But you look at a lot of things, it's not about winning the most. I've seen it play out multiple times, in different types of series, different types of race cars. Consistency always isn't, the name of the game. Or, winning isn't always the name of the game. You just kind of have to be up in there and put yourself in good positions at times.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead.
I finally remembered mine too, and I'm going to be rude and I'm going to jump in before I forget it again.
Go.
It's all about consistency. We've all watched enough racing. You don't have to watch that much racing to get it. Even if you don't win the race, if you finish in the top 2 or 3 on a weekly series, you got a really good shot at picking up the championship.
Yeah, you do, and that's the main thing. It's consistency. It's trying to figure out, where can you put a drop week in here? You have the help of a drop week in this series. So you may have to miss a race or two, but still, it's still the fact of is that consistency will pay off, and it will show throughout this entire season. At the end of this year, that's how you win championships. It's not always on who has the most wins. Which F1, it actually worked out that way this year. If we're going to talk F1, which by the way, go Max. But still, it's consistency. You got to have a good consistent run, and Shell and Bergeron have been. I mean, look back to Lernerville, or not Lernerville, Eldora. When we started this, Drake, you and I, we were calling that race there, and Bergeron and Shell had a tremendous battle, but they were classes way above the field there.
Exactly, and said you look at that race as a prime example, their dominance with the Apex series recently, and it's pretty astounding. I mean, the points obviously give you a good indication of that, with Shell over Bergeron, like you said, by 20 some odd point, and it's really mind-blowing. And then you watch them in the World of Outlaws too, and they're still just as consistent. A lot of people put this series right up next to the World of Outlaws in terms of competitiveness. So you look at these two guys, and it's really astounding what they've been able to do this year.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to keep a close eye on Alex Bergeron tonight, because one of my favorite things about watching, I've got some local guys here that I know will do it. The big example I always give is Kyle Busch. My favorite thing with Kyle Busch is make him mad, because that helmet is going to go down to another degree. He's going to angle it down just right, and he's going to come through the field with a fervor, and I'm excited to watch Alex tonight. I think he's going to be a man looking for redemption.
I think you're right. I think Bergeron's definitely gonna be the one to watch here tonight, and I think Shell, he's got to have a little bit of redemption on his mind too, because of what happened last week. I think that's weighing very, very heavy on his mind, and I think he knows that he kind of got screwed out of a win at Williams Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, and going back to that incident, whether you want to say Bergeron was wrong, whether Shell was wrong, at the end of the day, none of them got the checkered flag, so that's got to weigh heavy on both their minds.
Absolutely. So, folks, as we get ready to roll out here at the Lernerville Speedway, let's go back here and we'll discuss. We were supposed to be at the Knoxville Raceway, and I will bring this up because some people watching may be thinking, I thought these guys were supposed to be at Knoxville. Well, we were, but obviously with everything that went on with Lernerville this year, they were dropped from the main World of Outlaws Not Safe Drinks iRacing schedule for the sprint car side of things. So they dropped Lernerville, and they are actually off this Monday night. So we picked up Lernerville for this week. We're going to push Knoxville off until next Thursday night, December 23rd. So it'll be, beautiful way to kick off for Christmas. We'll go back out to Iowa, finally get to the Dingus, have, some candy cane shots. I don't know if that's a thing, but we'll actually have one. But Chuck Norris's will be flying. So we're going to do is we're going to have Knoxville then next Thursday night, and then we're going to replace Lernerville later on in the season. That'll be replaced by Fairbury. We'll have dates in that a little bit down as we get ready to roll out here, as practice is just about to begin, guys, here at the Lernerville Speedway. Once again, thanks to everyone for joining us here on OSRN. My name is Bert Wojcik. Again, alongside me, Dan Taylor. will be Drake York could be calling some in the pits tonight, and Dan and I will be going back and forth up in the booth. And Dan, I'm looking excited to work with you. I know last week we put you down in the pits just to kind of get you a feel, kind of break you in a little bit here. And what do you expect to see here tonight as you get ready to call your one of your first iRaces here?
Well, hopefully better graphics. I know our team.
Poor Joe. Already, Joe's getting hell already.
I know they've worked hard all this week to make sure that stuff was up to par, and so far it's looking really good. Honestly, I have no idea what to expect. I was blown away with what I saw last week. I don't think I got to sleep till like 2 a.m. because I was all, geeked up with the racing and everything that we saw. So I'm going in clean slate, and I'm just going to kind of embrace it and let it happen.
And Drake, this is another week for you and I calling this racing here, and it's been so good, so consistent, good racing. We just got to hope for less cautions this week. That's the main thing, less cautions, and I think that we'll have a better race here tonight.
Exactly. You talked about it earlier at the Grove. That was a fantastic race, even with the cautions. So it's very interesting to think of what could have been about that race, but other thing the cautions are a part of racing sometimes, but these, like I said, we stacked this series up to World of Outlaws on iRacing, and the competition level is, I believe, just as good, if not better, than the World of Outlaws. So these are some of the best, and some of the best struggles some nights. Not every World of Outlaws race you'll see in real life, or every All-Star race you'll see in real life doesn't go green to checker, clean and green, start to finish. So you'll just have that sometimes.
Hey, I want to send a quick thoughts out to a lot of people in the Midwest. In our area, we had a wicked storm roll through Wednesday afternoon to late evening. Saw some wind gusts in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Columbus, Nebraska of 90 plus mile an hour. Had a lot of damage, a lot of teams that lost trailers, lost shops. So thoughts going out to those guys, and the Knoxville Raceway actually making repairs today too. They had a light pole in turn 2 that completely buckled and fell over, but luckily that's all the damage they got with those big wind gusts that came through Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa yesterday. So we should be getting practice underway here just shortly. We appreciate everybody again joining us tonight for another Apex Auto Glass iRacing event for 410 sprint cars. And having a great night. It looks like the weather's a lot better out there than it is here in Iowa. Drake, what are you looking at for the weather in your home?
It's about 41 degrees here right now. It's been like 60 degrees the last few days. So I believe, let's see, it was like this Friday night. I went to the PRI show. And right after that, we had the USAC banquet. So I went to the banquet. Unfortunately, lost all my drink tickets to people who could consume alcoholic beverages. So that was a loss for sure.
Poor
but
soul.
The point of the story is I walked out of the banquet and it was 60 degrees outside. So it's been very, very warm. I think I walked out of the house in shorts yesterday to start my car at like 7 in the morning, and I didn't feel a thing.
We are having typical Midwest weather. I talked about that wind, but yesterday was 76, and today was a high of 40, and right now we're sitting at 32.
All over the place, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, how about that? And Dan, you made out all right with the storms last night, right? No, no issues with them.
I had to spend about an hour picking up branches out of my yard, but nothing
terrible.
Serious. Nothing serious.
That definitely could be worse.
That's
definitely.
good.
And yeah, there was, like I mentioned, there was Bert, you kind of walked away there, but or you had to step away for a minute, but they Knoxville Raceway had a little bit of damage they're dealing with, and I know I saw a lot of teams and trailers, and even a couple of guys that lost their entire race shops. So yesterday was a bit of a scary situation, and something definitely new in my 39 years on this planet.
Yeah, it's been a wild week of weather and just everything you can imagine this past week. I think you're not used to this stuff in your part of the country in December, like maybe somewhere like Alabama or somewhere down in Dixie Alley there. You will encounter this stuff, but in the Midwest this time of year, and we're thinking of everyone out in the Midwest and also down in Kentucky and Arkansas, Missouri, everywhere that was affected by the tornadoes last week and last night. It's been wild, but I will take this 60-degree weather. I absolutely live for this stuff. Best time
Amen.
of year. It's better than shoveling snow and the salt stuff on your truck and cars. Oh my god, I'm tired. Winter hasn't even happened yet up here in the Northeast, and I'm already sick of it.
My snowblower is still in the shop, so please, Mother Nature, continue with the closer to 70-degree days rather than the typical, sub-zero degree days we're gonna see in a couple of weeks.
Meanwhile, Drake, do you even know what snow is? Being out in California.
I think he sold all of his snow tickets last night at the banquet.
I think he might have. The Indiana people that actually will use them.
Mm-hmm. I hope we got to teach him that if he's not old enough to drink, at least sell the drink tickets.
Yes. Oh my god.
He's gonna make some money off this whole deal.
Come on, Drake. I thought you were smarter than this. You've been around racing for almost your entire life. You should know this.
I guess he might just be too nice of a kid.
He must be too nice of a kid. I still though. I mean, it's common sense. So you sell your drink tickets.
I need more friends like him.
I know. Right? Hey, come on, Drake. You're coming to Knoxville with us next year.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Attaboy. That's fantastic. But yeah, the USAC banquet, that looked interesting, and a lot of news came out with USAC last week, Drake. And I think one of the biggest things I took away from it last week was that there will be no Pennsylvania Midget Week next year, which that upsets me. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest midget fan in the world, but I do love it when you get to see some top tier talent come into Pennsylvania, like you see with the USAC non-standard Drake midgets. And they're not coming to some great tracks, and I that's one of the big things I just don't get. It's wild, man.
I can't speak for the schedules being made, but definitely bummed not go to Pennsylvania that week. 2 years I've been working with USAC has traditionally been the first week is full week of school, I should say. And I've told Levi Jones the last few years, hey, I got to home, take care of this, get this going off the ground before I go out to Pennsylvania and race with you guys. So missed out on that the last few years, and hopefully 2023.
Hopefully Mitch will be back, and but we do get the Eastern Storm next year. Looking forward to that, and I think it's something that I think some tracks out in the Midwest could see too. I'd like to see some places like in Nebraska, Dan, where you're out there. I think some wingless racing would actually flourish out there as we have cars on the track for our practice session here tonight.
Yeah, we've had USAC a couple of times at I-80 Speedway and Eagle Raceway, and every time I have worked as a pit reporter for both of those and just had to pick my job off the ground at how crazy those drivers are to race the way they do, and I would love to see them back at either one of those tracks.
I tell you what, when USAC comes in, it is it's like you drop everything, you go watch USAC. It is incredible, the slide jobs they put on and just the daring moves that they will try and do. It is insane. As first guy out here, we have a guy in the 11-second range, Clayton Tilley in a 51. He'll be in the night at 11.96. And also Tyler Shelley already puts down a 12-second lap as this session of practice is underway here. And as we look around here, guys, Lernerville again, it's not considered a posse track to most, but in Pennsylvania it is one of the best racing track. Obviously, you can see the Fab Four out here every Friday night, which include the 410 sprint cars, the big block modified, super late models, and street stocks out here as well. So you get the best of everything that Pennsylvania has to offer right there outside of Pittsburgh.
I think we already had one guy that came off the racetrack.
Yeah, I saw that. I believe that would have been, as I look through my scoring here. That's a good question. That might have been Ernie Williams. I think. I don't know if that was Ernie or not. I'll have to double check that. Yeah, so we'll have to. Whatever. It's already. It's practice anyway. So
Right.
Who really? Practice pays nothing. So
let's in practice and not the races.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're gonna wreck and you're gonna go over to berm, do it now. And if you're gonna try and send it in the pits, send it right now. Send it straight out. As you take a look, there was Alex Bergeron. We just had a look at him trying to rebound from last week. And as we said earlier, he definitely has some blood in his eyes, looking to go after another win here. But right now, he's only 6th fastest right now and running at 12.03. So it's got to get a little bit quicker than that. Tilly is still the fastest at 11.96. And I thought we'd have some more 11-second runs right now in practice, but the track is still pretty fresh.
Exactly. Right now, just looking at it, it's not very slick at all. Near the top, it's really, really fresh. You see Revs right there. Oh, he bangs it off the fence and up and over into turn 1. But I was just gonna say, you saw him start to clean off the top side at 3 and 4 a little bit, and that's kind of one thing that we're starting to see. It's gonna clean off. It's starting to get a little bit slick through the middle. I believe I saw it. Yes, right there in turn 1 and 2. Just a bit slick through the middle, but nothing to really fret about right now. So again, watch as they go through 3 and 4 here. The top already starting to get really cleaned off in 3 and 4.
You take a look at Evan Say right now, or C, I should say. I'm going to screw that up for a while, but Evan, good run last week, trying to rebound here again. It was kind of like the Shell and Bergeron show there, as Selman also, he threw his name in the hat. We'll see him out in a few minutes here as we ride on board with Evan C. They're running a 12.04 with his best lap right now, so he's still in there. As I look through time in the scoring, guys, most of them out. The only one really that kind of separated himself by 410's is Clayton Tilley, but everyone else, they seem to be pretty grouped up within the first, let's say here, within the top 10 or 12, I should say. You're grouped up within a tenth of each other.
Yeah, very, very tight racing.
Exactly like we talked about. We put this series, right up against the World Outlaws, and you can see it's very close, like you just talked about, just a bit outside the second range here, or the top 10 here. So again, also looking at the top side of turns 1 and 2, it's starting to get cleaned off really quick here, and we talk about drivers running on the razor's edge around Lernerville. That's kind of what makes this place so fun. It doesn't really matter what kind of car it is, what series it is. It's always entertaining to watch something go around Lernerville.
Now, this is where the 360 official races are taking place this week, and I've been able to run on Lernerville a good bit this weekend. And from what I found in the 360, now I know it's completely different than the 410, but that's also from what the setup I use too. It seems like the middle's a place to go in the heats, but when that starts widening up, it gets very, very slick around that top side. When that top side gets slick, as you just said there, Drake, it is a razor's edge. If you get one tire over that berm, you're done. You are going over. You're going for a ride.
Hey, you might end up in the boats out there.
You might. There is a boat out there. If anyone's ever I don't know, Dan, I don't know if you know this. If you go, whenever you get, or your iRacing set up and you get out there, there's a boat out on the backstretch.
Really?
Yes, there's a boat out there.
Well, now I'm watching that instead of the cars.
Yes, I don't know why, but there's a boat. I think that's around where this camera angle is from, as we are looking around there.
Is the camera guy on the boat?
The camera guy might be on the boat. I don't know. That's a good question.
I think the boat's a little too low for that.
Yeah, well, hey, that's what made platforms for.
It's true. That's very true. The boat could be a sturdy base.
The boat, yes, exactly. It weighs you down, puts a little bit of ballast into there.
Yeah, and I'm seeing the track is kind of slowing down just a little bit. Clayton Tilley in the 51, again, your fastest so far, 11.96. His last lap, 13.11. And we're seeing a lot of 13 and 12-second laps.
Yeah, you're exactly right here. And I wonder how much we're using the track up here. As you look here, too, on our time and scoring, we can tell how many laps they have ran as well. Alex Rzinski, he's ran almost 23 laps around the track, but you look at a guy like Bergeron, who's only ran 7 laps. So, he must feel pretty comfortable, but Strzezinski might be trying a couple different things here. Maybe try to see where the wing angle will go. But this also might be their only chance to see what the track will do and where it will slick off, and maybe you can put some moisture into it, or maybe get a little more grip through some moisture in the heat racing, because I think right now you'll see more of this looking like heat racing than what it will in the feature come tonight.
Just about 5.5 minutes left in practice. Your usual guys up in the front again, like we were talking about in the race, and geez, got another guy off turn 1.
I think that's the best way to just say I'm done with this session.
And there's
Here we go. Prime example. People just can't finish practice in iRacing. They just don't want to.
Exactly. This is the last chance to have fun. I know I'm guilty of it. I do send after qualifying. I keep a full bore. I try and send it over the light fixture that's in on the pit exit there in turn 3. Yeah, I try it. I haven't cleared it before. The wind kind of keeps me down.
I mean, if you can do a full Leroy Jenkins going into the pits, why not?
I need somebody in their in-car tonight to yell Leroy Jenkins when they do it in the qualifying session, if they do it. So even during the race, as you're done saying, "Oh my God, I'm flipping," might as well just scream out Leroy Jenkins. I might buy you a beer at some point. How about that?
It's a fair deal. I'd do that.
I think it will. Oh, listen. Were you here when we were talking about your drink tickets that you didn't sell them?
Yeah. So I won't name names, but at the banquet, when you get your ticket and everything, it has 2 little drink tickets, and I'm like, I know this bar. Well, I know these people. The only Coke that's going in here is for rum mixture only, so it's not going to work out for me. So I pawned some off, and
did you make any money off them though? That's the question.
No, I'm just a very nice person like that. I don't charge.
You called it, Dan. You freaking called it. We got qualifying on the track.
I had to plug in my computer, so I missed some of that.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Dan said you're just too nice of a guy. That's why you didn't sell your drink ticket. So, all right, fair enough. All right, qualifying out on the track. First out, right now on your screen, we're going to have Alex Bergeron. He's, of course, coming off of last week's disappointment at the Williams Grove Speedway, led the last lap to the line, and his first lap, he will go as he just completed his first lap. Right now, David Allen, he's your quick time at 11.82. Landon Cardoza, second quick. He just went faster at 11.84. Now Tyler Schell at 11.83.
Now we're starting to see some real 11-second lap times. Ernie Williams Jr. goes up to the top of the chart, 11.81.
There's Logan Rumsey in car 41. It seems like the top side going to be really preferred here from qualifying as we saw it in practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now it is Ernie Williams at over a tenth faster. Or excuse me, there it is. I got to look. I'm still trying to get used to this. I got to kind of cut the one side off there. And Bergeron, he just knocked Williams off the top of the board, 11.80 for Alex Bergeron. He's your provisional pole sitter right now. Williams second at 11.81. David Allen third fastest, 11.82. Tyler Schell fourth fastest, 11.83. Landon Cardoza, 11.84. Austin Drucke, he's tied with Cardoza at 11.84. Mason Hannigan, the Little Hurricane, 11.85. Ross Kreiser, 11.85 as well. Logan Rumsey, ninth fastest. You just saw him on your screen there, 11.88. And Lane Stevens rounds out the top 10 at another 11.88. So very, very tight field, guys, here. You're looking within a tenth of each other here from first down to 12th.
The track wasn't slowing down much.
I know it wasn't. No, they must have reset it.
Yeah, iRacing qualifying very fast. James Eden's in car number 25. I actually believe it says the 52 on it, as he's going to slide off the backstretch. That was the most graceful stop I think I've seen since Alex Bergeron in practice.
Yeah.
Good respect for James Eden. He respects that virtual race car.
He respects the equipment. That's what you got to do. Respect the equipment out there. As Blake Majulis, he's out on the speedway right now, going to take a lap. Right now, he's 18th quick at 11.93. We'll see if he improves at all in his second lap. And he will not. So 11.93 will be Blake Majulis' time. As we'll see if anyone else. Yeah, we still got Clayton Tilley yet to go out. As we're going to go into our heat race here. And Alex Bergeron, he's going to be your pole sitter here tonight. And he will start on the pole of heat race number 1. Then Landon Cardoza will be in that second spot here. Logan Rumsey starting in the third spot. Randy Shreves starting off in the fourth position here. Tim Smith will be rolling off in the fifth spot. Trevor Myers in spot number 6, car number 20. Evan Say in spot number 7. Aiden Berline, he'll be running shotgun on this field in the A spot. And boys, I think we're ready for a good night of racing here. Thanks again for joining us here on OSRN for the Apex Autoglass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car Championship, presented by B&B Race Simulators. And there he is. You're looking down the gun barrel there, Dan.
This is a really cool shot, and I'm enjoying how this track is laid out. Probably makes for a real life speedy night of racing as they can get in and off the track fairly quickly.
It does. I was out here a couple years ago for the World of Outlaws when they were out at Lernerville, and it was one of the only nights I seen Donnie Schatz break. I very rarely do you see that. I actually saw Donnie Schatz break that night.
And did the crowd go wild?
The crowd did go wild. Yes, they did. Of course they did. It's Pennsylvania. So
yes.
Anybody
but shots.
Anybody but shots. Exactly.
I
love
the rumor. Pennsylvania's anybody but outlaws.
That's true too. But
my understanding, or at least the going rumor at Knoxville Raceway, is that Donnie Schatz is the one that started the Anybody But Shots T-shirt line, and he's making the money off that whole deal.
It wouldn't surprise me. No, the guy Donnie is. It wouldn't surprise me if he did that.
Or the team he races for is pretty good at making money off merchandise.
They are. But Donnie's a character himself. If anyone's ever got the chance to hang around Donnie and get to know him a little bit, he is a character in himself. I love talking to Donnie. He's a good dude. On the track, obviously you don't want to see him win every race, but off the track, he's one of the nicest people out there. He's funny as hell too. Funny as hell.
I got to interview him after the near loss at the Knoxville Nationals to Jason Johnson, and that was a very tense interview. He was not a very happy man that night.
Yeah, but I think now looking back on it, I think it's almost like the same line with Dale Earnhardt after Davey Allison. I'd run second to him if it just meant he'd come back. I'm sure we're at that point.
So 10 laps in heat race number 1.
We're going to take one more lap here with the iRacing Silverado. And, Dan, I'm excited to finally get to work with you here. I got to work with Drake the last couple weeks, and we'll give Drake's voice a rest here tonight. Dan, you and I will be on the call. Drake will be doing our pit interviews tonight and giving us any reports from down the pits here as we look at Alex Bergeron, Landon Cardoza on the front row. And I tell you what, Bergeron, he set himself in a good spot right now here, Dan.
Yeah, he's definitely primed. It's all in his hands right now. He's just got to handle it and get by these next 10 laps and try to pick up the heat race win.
Pace car in. We are underway here at the Lernerville Speedway here for the Apex Autoglass and Tin 410 Sprint Cars. Alex Bergeron takes the early lead over Cardoza here. We're taking the top 4 into tonight's feature event.
Very good start for Bergeron. He was able to pick his line going into turn 1, went right to the top, and it looks like Rumsey is going to be diving down to the inside, trying to put a little bit of a move on Cardoza, but not able to make it work.
Yeah, we have one car going around there. Off the berm down the back straightaway. So Logan Rumsey there, that's Randy Sheaves. He's over the back straightaway. No cautions in the heat racing. So if you mess up, you kind of got to come back and regroup for the Conti. Meanwhile, we're looking at Cardoza. He's holding on to Bergeron right there. Rumsey's not that far away either.
2/10 behind is Cardoza. About half a second back is Rumsey. Top 3 kind of breaking away in a single file line. And, top side is exactly where everybody wants to be early on in this race.
Yeah, topside really, it's a good place to be right now. It's not too slicked off, so you really can get a lot of grip up there and have that cushion to lead on. But you got to be very, very careful because that could really come up and bite you. As you look at Trevor Myers right now going into turns 3 and 4. Out for the lead here between Cardoza and Bergeron.
Yeah, Cardoza finally caught up to him. Cardoza is going to try to stick that nose down to the inside. Not able to make it work off turn 2. Now start to work on it in turn 3. He's starting to reel in Bergeron, and we're going to get a battle for the race lead heading into turn 1.
Oh, was there a pucker factor there for Cardoza? Almost into the fence off of turn 4, and you got to be careful about that. There's a very fine line. Drake York said about it earlier. That fine line there where you have to be fast up against the fence, but also if you go up a little bit too far, you're into it.
Lap car may be an issue as they head into turns 3 and 4. Getting the white flag final time. That was out of turn 2. Now into turns 3 and 4. This is the final time. Oh, no! The track goes Cardoza.
Oh, Landon Cardoza absolutely stepped on it off of turn number 2. Alex Bergeron will win over Logan Rumsey and Trevor Meyer. Evan Say, Tim Smith. Cardoza will be credited with the 6th spot. Oh, man. Well, did we jinx it? I don't know if we jinxed it, boys.
We did. Yeah, you know what? Cardoza did it. He went for it. He said, I'm just going to have to see if that edge is there. And unfortunately, he's just inched over the edge.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So after that, Alex Bergeron, Logan Rumsey, Trevor Myers, Evan Say. Actually, we're taking top 3 from the heats here tonight. So Trevor Myers will be in that last spot there. Landon Cardozo will be credited all the way back in the 6th spot as we will wait for Alex Bergeron to get down there with Drake York. And Drake, you want some drama for that first heat race? It got close there, but Bergeron got saved a little bit when Cardozo went up over the cushion.
Exactly, and I was watching Cardozo there, and I could kind of tell he was just trying to get a little sliver of air on the front nose wing, trying to get some clean air on Bergeron, and it looked like he had something. I think he could have had something for Bergeron heading into turn 1, and ultimately followed him and then slipped up off 2, and that's all she rode.
Absolutely. And Dan, I tell you what, as we get ready to go into heat race number 2 here, yeah, I think we're in for a good night racing. That was a lot closer than what I thought it was going to be there.
It kind of felt like it was going to get strung out a little single file there, but Cardozo really closed the gap and started to make it interesting those last 3 or 4 laps.
Absolutely. So as we get ready for heat race number 2, Ernie Williams and Austin Drucke will share the front row, followed by Lane Stevens and Blaine Brink. They'll be ranking up row number 2. Blake Majulis and Daniel Boyd. And finally, Damon Paul will be rounding out the field. 7 cars in this heat as we will go one more time around with the iRacing Silverado Pace truck as we are waiting for Alex Bergeron to get down to Drake York. And if not, well, we'll see if he gets there at some point here tonight, and we will...
Man, doesn't sound like Alex wants to talk right now.
I think he's focused, man. He is focused. I don't blame him. As meanwhile, it sounds like we do have him in there, and Drake York. Send it on over down to you, buddy. Give Alex Bergeron a pat on the back for that one.
Yeah, thank you. Alex Bergeron, obviously the talk of the town has been the Williams Grove incident this last week. So how have you kind of carried yourself heading into tonight here at Lernerville?
Just trying to focus on this track, and I barely practiced maybe 10 minutes here before this race, so didn't really expect anything from this race. Just trying to go out there and do the best we can.
That's Alex Bergeron, winner of heat race number 1, as we go back to heat race number 2.
We've had 2 cars off the racetrack on the opening lap. Williams is your race leader. Ernie Williams over Austin Drucke. Drucke is getting a little bit of pressure underneath. I believe that's from the 01 of David Allen.
Yeah, David Allen, he's right there. Ernie Williams having a great run here tonight. A little bit of a low butt guy here, giving it a shot here. Is Blake Majulis. He's out in that 4th spot right now. Top 4 breaking away, going single file around that top side there, and that's getting razors in up there, Dan.
They just about found how hard that turn 4 wall can be, but they all survive, and we go down the backstretch, and there is hardly a tenth to split between the 4 cars, and we got side-by-side action at the line.
Oh, David Allen's and Austin Drucke, what a battle they are having there. This Ernie Williams, he's got to be loving this if he could have a rear-view mirror. He's starting to pull away from them with 5 laps to go in this heat race here. Top 3, 1 car in the wall. That looked to be Majulis.
Yeah, Majulis tapped the wall there. He's able to keep going there in the 127. He's going to fall back just a little bit, but now he's going to be able to regroup, start to reel these guys in. 3 laps left to go. Leaders in the wall.
Oh, he takes everyone with them. Oh, who's going to recover here? Ernie Williams will kick the lead. Oh, this is wild. I love it. I love this.
The replay.
Oh my God, this is absolutely crazy. So that'll put Damon Paul up into the 2nd spot right now. Here's the replay of what just happened. Ernie Williams go up into the wall, collects Drucke, and collects Allen. That sends one of them into the fence or into the infield there. I think that would be David Allen.
Yeah, I believe it's Allen.
Wow. Okay. That was Lane Stevens involved in that as well. Meanwhile, battle for the lead here as it comes 1 lap too late as Ernie Williams will pick up the win over Damon Paul and Austin Drucke. So, all right.
All 3 of them just sent it.
All right, boys.
Way to just make the race end the way it went on.
Yeah, that was wild. That might be one of the more wild races I've seen here. And as we get Ernie Williams into the pits here, we'll get Drake York down him in a minute here. Ernie Williams over Damon Paul and Austin Drugi. And Dan, I don't even know what to say. That was more wild than the first heat race, and I thought that was wild.
Again, a great race, great racing action, side by side, top four really going at it, and you can just tell, even though you're the race leader, it's not a comfortable place to be, and Ernie just putting it on the edge a little bit too much. Drake said it best. I think we're going to keep quoting that all night long, as Drake was absolutely right. Now we're going to send it back into the pits with Drake.
Thank you guys. Ernie Williams Jr., winner of very crazy heat race number 2. Ernie, took us through coming off at turn number 4 there when you slapped the fence and hit all those cars. And how in the world did you win that race? I feel like there's so many things to talk about from that race with you.
Man, I don't even know. That was the craziest thing I've ever been involved in my life, I think. I got done flipping. I started going, and my car flew all right. And I'm in Discord with my guys. I'm like, am I still in the lead? They're like, yeah. I'm like, no way. So I don't know. I got out of 4, man, and I just got over that bump a little, or that berm a little bit, man. It just got me in the wall, and I don't know who was behind me, but I'm sorry for whoever it was. But that was crazy. That was wild.
Ernie Williams Jr., just like the rest of us, he is very shocked about that heat race. He's your winner of heat race number 2.
Oh, you gotta love looking up at the crew and saying, "Hey, am I still in the lead?"
I think quote of the night is, "I got done flipping and I just got back in the gas."
And literally, just keep your foot in it. Oh, David Allen, Mason Hannigan, Alex Salinger, Justin Sherman, Gunnar Harris, James McCarron in this heat race as we get ready to go green again. Chad Sinner rounds out the field. Green is out, 10 laps of distance.
David Allen off to an early start with the race lead. Side-by-side action, battle for second. That's going to cool down as looks like Stoudlinger is going to take the second spot.
Yeah, Alex Salinger takes that second spot away from Mason Hannigan, but he's not going away yet. One car over the berm now as he'll get it back squared away here as we go back into turns 1 and 2 again.
Race leader breaking away from this battle for second. Again, Stoudinger and Hannigan, the second and third position. And did Hannigan just pull down?
I believe Hannigan pulled down. Now we got one car over. That'd be Stoudinger. He just went out over. Alex Stoudinger, he just went out over the berm. So now David Allen's continuing to lead over Mason Hannigan. Then it's Gunnar Harris in the third spot. James McCarron in the fourth spot. Here's the replay again. As you look, Stoudinger, he was in this transfer spot very securely, and it just slipped up on him over the berm just enough that he had nowhere to go there.
Here we go. There, it's right there. I think is where he went over the berm.
Yep, right there it is. So they look at Stoudinger 4 laps to go. Meanwhile, David Allen, it's been pretty quiet for the leader in this race here, Dan. Not much to talk about. Mason Hannigan running that second spot, and then Gunnar Harris, he is up from the 5th spot, running that third and final transfer spot.
About a second advantage over Hannigan does Allen have as he gets to 2 laps left to go in heat race number 3. And a little bit, I guess, I don't know, I shouldn't say it was a little bit more of a calm race, but leader has had a little bit of an easier race. David Allen putting down some fast lap times and pulling away from Mason Hannigan.
David Allen, his fast lap has been a 12.70, so the track is still right there. Almost where it was in practice. Off at turn number 4, David Allen wins heat race number 3. As you said, Dan, a lot calmer this time around as David Allen wins. Oh, kind of, yes, kind of. Keyword, kind of. Over Mason Hannigan, Gunnar Harris here 3 will make the feature. James McCarron in the 4th spot. Chad Sinner comes up in the 5th. Alex Salinger in 6th. And Justin Sherman in the 7th spot. And Drake, I don't think there's going to be too much to talk about in this interview when you get David Allen down in there. But a lot calmer heat race this time. So we'll take that in the booth. We need a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, I don't blame you guys, but I was watching Allen, especially those last few laps, as we'll get him in here on the show. Talk to him real quick. You get him up here. Sir Allen, a pretty solid heat race from you there. I did notice while everybody was kind of running the very edge of the racetrack, you started to move down towards the end of the race. What did you kind of find as the race went on?
I like to run the middle typically anyways. I don't have the big enough kahunas to run up top there typically, so I try to make my car work where the grip's at.
That's David Allen, winner of heat race number 3. And like you guys said, probably the calmest one. And yeah, his line, you just heard him say he likes to run the middle there. And you could definitely see just looking at the racetrack, the line is starting to move down.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Dan.
It'll be interesting to see who goes where in heat race number 4.
So Tyler Schell will be on the pole, then Ross Kreiser in second. James Eden and Joe Howe will be in the 4th spot. Alex Szerzynski and Sean Brown will be in there. Clayton Tilley in the 7th transfer spot. And that's the kind, like I said, that middle line, when you can find that middle line, that can be the fastest way around here. In a 360, we were running 410 tonight, but man of the hour right now, Tyler Schell, your points leader here in the Apex Auto Glass and Tinting 410. Sprint cars in by B&B Race Simulators. Green flag is out. He's going to be the man to watch here as he goes after Alex Bergeron here, but he's got to get there first.
He's going to run the middle groove through turns 1 and 2, comes up the track, chooses a little bit higher line in 3 and 4. He'll lead the field to the start-finish line on lap number 1.
Almost contact there between Edens and Kreiser. Now, Edens will get a run down the back straightaway on Tyler Schell. Battle for the lead. Oh, Schell took the line away from him as they go into turns 3 and 4. Back down the front straightaway again. Schell's going to run the middle. Edens got to hold up there, but here comes Kreiser.
Boy, how quickly that line has moved down. Not only are they locked to the top and kissing that edge, but they are down through the middle of the track and putting down some pretty good lap times. Tyler Schell last time by 12:08.7, but James Edens is right there battling for the lead.
As you take a look, Edens trying to find some way around Tyler Schell. We took that Ross Kreiser. Now there's Edens. He's trying. He's almost mimicking Schell's line here as we're going to be halfway around next time by. Schell going to go on, or Edens going to look on the bottom, gets a little bit sideways off of turn number 4 as he gathers back in, but he doesn't lose that much momentum to Schell.
Yeah, a little squirrely, but not too bad. It was worth kind of picking his nose down there and seeing what he could get. They both go to the high side at a turn number 2. And Schell continues to lead over Edens, Kaiser, Howell, and Brown.
So we'll keep looking on this here, Dan, but as it looking here, it looks like Schell and Edens have a pretty good pace going right now. They've been able to pull away from Ross Kreiser as Edens tries in there, slide job. He's got close that time off of turn number 2.
Yeah, both of them running right around 13-second lap times. Everybody else up above the 13.3s. Except for Hal running a 13.2. Now we're at a 13.10 was Hal. So maybe Hal's starting to find something as we get that battle for the race lead is not cooling off.
White flag is out. Yeah, white flag is out this time by James Eden's going to have to try and pull slide job on Tyler Schell. Down the back straight. They're almost side by side going to turn 3 and 4. Edens takes the lead away. Schell tries, goes up. He jumps the cushion. He's into it. Does Schell make the feature? Oh my! Tyler Schell will be credited with the second spot. Flipping over according to time of the score, and he got second. Okay.
That was a Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finish at Iowa Speedway if I've ever seen one.
Oh my God.
Merry Christmas.
How in the hell did Tyler Schell get second over Ross Kreiser? James Eden with the win.
If anybody has anybody watched Iowa Speedway, there was a race that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. blew his engine coming out of turn 4. Carl Edwards, with nowhere to go, slams into the back of him and pushes him across the line to win the race. I think we just saw something similar to that.
I remember that race. I remember that race very, very fondly, actually. Yeah, so we'll pull up Drake. James Eden with the massive slide job there to win this heat race.
Absolutely. James Edens was able to pull up alongside Tyler Schell on that last lap. James, you poked your nose to the inside, but were able to pull alongside on that final lap. Us through that last final lap where you were able to get by Schell for the win.
Yeah, I thought we gave it away on the front stretch. I got to the back of him a little bit, had a little better run than I thought, but we were just able to make the bottom work really good in 1 and 2, and just kind of throw a Hail Mary there in 3, and it stuck. And I think he went off the track, so that definitely helped our case a little bit.
James Edens wins another thrilling heat race here tonight at Lernerville Speedway.
Boys, I don't know if we'll see anything better than this all year long. This has been fantastic.
Well, just when you think that. We got some great racing and some incredibly talented drivers. that are putting on a heck of a show for our fans that are watching.
Do we have we have a feature yet to go tonight. Oh,
We do.
Boy. Oh, damn. Okay, so that's coming up. Anyway, C-Main, Evan Say, James McCarron, Tim Smith, Chad Sinner, Landon Cardoza, Alex Salinger, Randy Sheaves, and Justin Sherman. And we'll have to keep an eye on Cardoza coming from the 5th spot here, Dan. You know, he was up there battling with Bergeron that entire heat race until right at the very end where he jumped the berm. So he'll be fun to watch coming from the 5th spot, I believe.
Taking the top 5 into the B, so only the top 5 move on. If you're Cardoza, do you think let's take it easy and just make it into the B, or are you going for that win? We're going to find out in 12 laps.
Well, he's already battling for 3rd, so I don't think he's going to be taking it easy to go into the B. He's in the 3rd, and we got a couple cars gathering up. And one car is over. Chad Sinner looked to be involved in that, along with Stoudinger. So we will stay green again. No cautions here up until to feature tonight. Then we will have cautions counted. So right now, Evan Say leads over Tim Smith. And then Landon Cardoza and James McCarron, Landon Cardoza, Randy Sheaves, and Justin Sherman are in your transfer spots.
Yeah, that Sherman car in the 000, first car outside looking in. Shreves, first car, the final car in the transfer spots. We're going to keep an eye on that battle as the laps wind down. 9 laps left to go as the field's in the backstretch. And now to turn 4. Shea, your race leader with Smith and McCarron. Your top 4, Cardoza hanging on there in 4th.
So we keep an eye on that battle for 4th right now. Randy Sheaves, he is in that final transfer spot, in the 5th spot. Sherman, he's about a second behind Randy right now, so we'll have to see if he can close it. Meanwhile, there goes Cardoza. He's trying to get around James McCarron. He will do that. He'll get around James McCarron off of turns number 3 and 4. Good job for Landon Cardoza. He's up to 3rd.
Yeah, good move there. He's definitely got some momentum rolling for him. Last time by 13.28, 3rd fastest car out on the racetrack. Scratch that 4th fastest car out on the racetrack, but moving into that 3rd spot, starting to reel in Smith. Last time by Smith, 13.11. Excuse me, last time by 13.15 for Smith. Cardoza 13.38, so Cardoza's going to have to find something.
And battle here is starting to heat up for that 5th and final transfer spot between Randy Sheaves and Justin Sherman. Sherman within a half a second of Randy right now. As you take a look at the Springfield, Illinois native coming off of turn number 3 and 4 with 3 laps to go here. We'll have to see, does Sherman have enough or try to pull a slide job on Sheaves at Jamie McCarron? He might be in some trouble. We're going to have a 3-car battle here for that 4th spot.
Yeah, and we were talking about Cardoza earlier, keeping an eye on him, and we've done that all race long. We are seeing a completely different racetrack than when he was out in his heat race, and we are on board with, I believe, Sherman there, Justin Sherman, and he is really kissing that edge.
Oh, yes, he is. He's right up there on the backside of Sheaves. He's trying everything to make it into the nice B main. Evan Say will win this as you take a look here going in turns 3 and 4. Sherman's gonna hold that high side hustling. Does he get around? He does. Justin Sherman will make it into the nice B main as he gets by Randy Sheaves by 19th 1,000th of a second. Oh boy! All right, so that was a calmer heat race, carnage wise, but great racing nonetheless.
Absolutely, and great persistence on the 000 of Justin Sherman, not letting it go and able to run that rim. We saw so many guys that just on the final lap put it up on that high side and couldn't make it work because, you know, that wall's there and everything. But he was able to make it work and ended up picking up the 5th and final transfer spot.
So Evan Say will pick up the win over Tim Smith, Landon Cardoza, Jamie McCarron, and Justin Sherman will be your 5 transfers into the night's B mains. They'll get ready to top off the fuel tanks here as we will look at tonight's B main lineup here as Blake Majulis will bring him to the green over Joe Howe. Lane Stevens and downtown Sean Brown in the 4th spot. Blaine Brink and Alex Jasinski will round out row number 3. Dan Boyd and Clayton Tilley in row number 4. Aiden Berline scheduled to go off in the 9th spot. And then we will pick up your B main transfers on top of that. As that'll be Evan Say will make his way into this event as well, along with Jamie McCarron. And Drake, I believe you have an interview down there. Oh, so wait, I don't think we do after the after the Contis. So I don't think we go after the Contis for interviews. So nope, all good there as we are getting ready to go. By the way, thanks to our great producer here tonight, Joe White of OSRN, for having us here, and fantastic broadcast so far, and really enjoying the coverage they're giving us here tonight, Dan.
Absolutely. It's been a much better night than last week. So, Joe, I do appreciate all your hard work throughout the week to make me sound better. That's not an easy thing to do. You did a great job with it.
Exactly. It's always making somebody look good. Exactly. So we'll make Joe look good. He's one of the best in the business here. As we get ready, Blake Majulis here. So I think the fun guy to watch is going to be Landon Cardoza in this B main as we get ready to roll here into turns number 1 and 2. Blake Majulis takes the early lead. Oh,
we got a car sideways. Sean Brown gets back into the throttle. He'll be at the tail end of the field, and he will get rolling again.
Sean Brown will get this rolling again, but he'll have to do some work here. As we just got the word right now from race control, there'll be no track maintenance after this, so they're going to do a 1.5-minute warm-up, and they'll get rolling here as we take a look at Lane Stevens. He's trying to make his way into the night's main event. Blaine Brink is right there as well, so they're trying to find a way around here, as I believe we're only taking either 3 or 4 or 5 out of this. If we can have confirmation on that, please. And so as we take a look there, here comes Clayton Tilley. He was fast in practice, but Dan hasn't really been a factor most of the night.
Not really so far. Kind of surprised by that as we continue to wind laps down. 8 laps left to go. And Howe and Majulis going at it hard.
Yes, those funky names, they will always get you. But Blake Majulis, kid, has some speed, and we'll see what he can do here. He's checked out from the field, over a 1.5-second lead on Lane Stevens and Alex Rzazinski as this field starts to spread out right now, and it's the B-main's been calm, but you think there'd be a little more fighting right now, trying to make their way into the night's feature event.
It's getting a little bit spread out, and that battle for the race lead has slowed down. Now it's a 2-second advantage for Majulis. In the 127 car, starting to pull away from the field, running some really good lap times in this B main.
Yeah, his best lap was just turned at a 13.36. He dropped off a little bit on that second lap here, but he is really putting on a clinic right now. So we got a battle for second, it looked like there, coming down the back straightaway. One car up over the berm, and that's Clayton Tilley. He goes up in a second over Lane Stevens as they're going to try and pull slide job back on him into turn 2 down the back straightaway.
As this race is winding down, it's starting to heat up as these guys know that their chances of making the A main are starting to close dramatically. 2 laps left to go as we go into turns 1 and 2.
Oh, we almost went 3 wide there between Stevens, Rzazinski, and Boyd as we get white flag out, this time blind for Blake Majulis.
Blake Majulis 2.5-second advantage, and it is growing as we are on the final lap. That battle for second, Tilley and Stevens going at it. Tilley still has it. Stevens is right there, though. Excuse me, that's for 3rd and 4th, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, but Blake Majulis will win tonight's B main over Clayton Tilley. Lane Stevens, Alex Rzazinski, Daniel Boyd, and Blaine Brink. So we're going to have a quick warm-up session here, and we'll get the B main cars into tonight's feature event. And let's tell you what, boys, while we're doing that, while the warm-up's happening, Joe, if you got some commercials lined up, let's run them real quick, and we'll be right back with tonight's feature event. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to tonight's Apex Auto Glass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car Championship here, presented by the B&B Race Simulators here at the Lernerville Speedway. My name is Bert Wojcik. Alongside me is Dan Taylor. And Drake York is down in the pits, and it is time for tonight's 40-lap main event here at the Lernerville Speedway. Starting on the pole tonight here is your starting lineup. Alex Bergeron, Ernie Williams will share the front row. David Allen, James Eden will make up row number 2. Logan Rumsey and Damon Paul will make up row number 3. Mason Hannigan rolling off in the 7th spot. Tyler Schell is going to have some work to do coming from the 8th spot here tonight. Trevor Myers and Austin Drew can make up row number 5. Gunnar Harris and Ross Kreiser make up row number 6. Evan Say and Blake Majulas in row number 7. Tim Smith and Clayton Tilley, row number 8. Landon Cardoza and Lane Stevens in row number 9. Row number 10, Jamie McCarron and Alex Jasinski. And in the 21st starting spot tonight will be Justin Sherman. And rounding out the field will be Daniel Boyd here tonight in the 11th and final row. So, as we'll send down Drake York for a last-minute preview here. Drake, as I just said, Tyler Schell, he's going to be starting deep in this field here tonight. It's almost going to be like Bergeron last week. He was fun to watch at Williams Grove coming from deep in the field. If we have a little bit of chaos, a little bit of carnage, something wild could happen here, I think.
Yeah, and you mentioned chaos and carnage. The one thing I'm going to be really watching from Tyler Schell as he carves his way through this field is kind of picking and choosing where he makes his moves, especially with the big momentum track like this one. Obviously a lot different than Williams Grove that we were at last week, but it's going to be about, I think, how you pick and choose to make your moves. And if we maybe see some things, down like they did at Williams Grove, where you have contenders be involved in accidents early in the race, that could really shape up this one. As lights are out, we're about ready to go green.
Absolutely. Dan Taylor, are you ready to do this thing, bud?
I am so excited. I can see, I can call. Here we go. Green flag out. Lap 1 of 40 at Lernerville.
Alex Bergeron takes over the lead over James Eden in that 2nd spot right now. David Allen in 3rd. Bergeron ripping that top side down. We're 2 by 2 most of the field here to get through clean and green. Lap number 1.
One car down on the low side, trying to find some grip underneath as the top 3 cars up on the rim out of turn number 4. Now we're out of turn. Do we have a car around? Sorry.
And Clayton Tilley was crashing, and what we will say, green, good job on him. Yeah, that car you were saying on the bottom is Logan Rumsey, one of the only ones to try. Oh, we're 3 wide coming off of turns number 3 and 4. Tyler Schell's involved in that, but now the yellow flag is out.
Justin Sherman bringing out the caution this time in the 000 car. We got the replay to figure out what happened with him.
Take a look, you see orange car on your screen, and the berm got him. That'll do it. The berm got him, so Justin Sherman's going to have to do a quick repair here and get back out as, Tyler Schell, he's wasting no time right now trying to make his way up through the field here. His time in scoring gets updated here. We are 4 laps into tonight's 40-lap main event. As right now, it had Schell scored in the 5th spot, but they were 3 wide there coming off of turn number 4 there.
Yeah, we were seeing some great racing action down the stretches, in the corners. What you would expect from what we saw in the heat races. So let's get about 15-20 laps of green flag runs and watch some great elbows up racing.
Knock on wood right now for saying that, Dan. Knock on wood.
I just tempted fate, didn't I? Let me get some salt. I'll toss it over my shoulder.
You put the announcer's curse out there. So.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So, Ernie, wow. So, Ernie Williams, he's starting the outside pole there as he is already down 15 spots already. So, but the field is starting to cycle back through around here as time is scoring. But yeah, tough break for Ernie Williams. Just seemed like he did not get a good start there, Dan.
Yeah, and it maybe just couldn't find his groove quite yet, as one of my favorite interviews so far from tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Ernie was that was fantastic. And the other side of the coin there, Blake Majulas, he's already up. His time in scoring wraps around here. He's up to 4th or 5th right now as we get this squared away. Yes, he's already up to the 6th spot. He's up 7 spots already, and up in the 7th, excuse me. But Blake Majula is looking strong. Him and Tyler Shell going to be right there with each other, but they're all going to be chasing down Alex Bergeron and Alex Rzinski. Or, excuse me, James Eden.
And green flag is back out. Bergeron's going to lead the field with Eden's right on his tail. Again, those top 2 cars move to the high side, Rumsey to the low side.
And Blake Majolis is crashing in turns number 1 and 2. And we'll check this out as the caution flag is out for him. A great restart for both Shell and Bergeron, as those good guys been the ones to talk about. Looks like Majolis had a little bit of help. Looked like he picked up Cardoza, and Ernie Williams is in there. As Williams just kind of pulled him along there. Hey, helped him out.
Landon, the other driver involved in that too.
Landon Cardoza, he's involved in that, I believe. It looked like he had a little bit of help there. I want to say that might have been around from Trevor Myers, potentially, given a little bit of help, or Tim Smith, one of those two. It was in that general area there. He had a little bit of help going around there, but sometimes you have to check up, and there's just nothing the guy behind you can do.
Drake, you may have had a little bit clearer view than I did on that one. What did you see?
I think you guys summarized it pretty good right there, and couldn't quite make out who it was, but he definitely got some help down there in turns 1 and 2. But one thing I've been really excited to see here so far in these first few laps is we'll get another look at it. He goes down the front stretch. He's right next to Shell into 1. See who tags him. Definitely got tagged.
Can't make it. I believe that's Tim Smith. I believe that might. Yep. So Cardoza got into him, but that was a 22 car of
Alec.
That'd be Ernie Williams here getting around him there. But that looked to be the 22 car got into him. And that'll be Alex Rzinski. Looks like he's going to be out in the pits right now repairing some damage. So Alex Rzinski was the one that made contact.
Pace car is off. We're going to go back to green. Our second caution flag will be removed. 35 laps to go as Bergeron leads him to the green flag.
Oh, what a restart for Bergeron. It's Tyler Shell looking underneath of Logan Rumsey. Oh, almost thought there was going to be some contact there. We say clean and green as it go down the back straight. No, I lied. The yellow flag is out. I jinxed that one.
Austin Drucke bringing that out. And Joe, who'd you say the other one was? Blake Majules.
Yeah, Majulis again. Oh, sent it in a little bit too hard there. Looks like Jamie McCarron was involved in that too.
Both cars getting some good air.
And it looks like that was Rzinski again got involved in. That kind of reminded me of AJ Flick's wreck a couple years ago out there at Lernerville. Actually, that looked more closer to the wreck I saw earlier this year at Georgetown between Zach Bird and Troy Betts. Bird kind of got into the bottom there, hit the ruts going in the bottom of 1 and 2, and Georgetown's very similar to this where there's no wall on the outside. Well, Bird went up and he caught Betts at the pillar of the A-frame, which it was scary as hell because I thought it nailed him, but he went top of the A-frame there, and they both went over the berm. That looked very similar to that, but luckily no harm, no foul here because this is kind of virtually that was real life.
Right.
I've been really excited to see so far in the start of this race, guys, is the diversity of lines that obviously had that track work just before the lower mains, and that really helped. And before we started getting these string of yellows, we saw 2 and 3 wide racing, and for the first time tonight, we really saw the bottom of the racetrack start to come in, especially down in 3 and 4. I feel like the bottom's a little bit better in 3 and 4 than it is in 1 and 2, but just like it has been all night, the top side has been king.
So, Drake, are you hearing anything? Because I almost think soon that if they don't start getting their act together here, we may be seeing a single file restart. Are you hearing anything about that yet?
Nope, I haven't heard anything about it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it. That's kind of common practice with a lot of series, whether regional or national. You know, you get, I believe, the USAC rule is twice, and then single file, and King of the West and Sprint Car Challenge Tour. A lot of regional series like that out west do it like that. So surprised to see them go to a single file here.
So, Alex Bergeron, James Eden, Logan Rumsey, David Allen, Tyler Schell. That'll be your top 5. Evan Say, he's up into the 6th spot as well. Back to green.
Bergeron once again leading the field into 1 and 2. He'll take the high side. The 41 of Rumsey still working that low side. He's going to get a good run. He'll take over the 2nd spot. Battle for the race lead.
Oh, we're 2x2 for this lead. Here is Logan Rumsey. He's up into the 2nd spot. I look like Ernie Williams is almost going around off of turn number 4. We stay green right now, as right now Rumsey's the only one that has anything for Bergeron on the bottom. I think a lot of guys are starting to see the bottom coming in right now, Dan.
Rumsey is really showing them the way around, but Eden's got a great run off turn number 4. He's going to take that high side momentum back into the 2nd spot. Rumsey with a good run down the backstretch. He'll take back the 2nd spot. Down to the low side goes Rumsey. Could we have a battle for the race lead?
Not just yet. Logan Rumsey is still keeping on there. Here comes James Eden. He's trying to stick a nose underneath the Bergeron. Not going to happen as you ride on board with the number 25. Into turns 3 and 4, Rumsey and Smith, they're still right there as well. But Bergeron's trying to pull away from Eden as he's holding on for 2nd.
Great 4-car battle for this race lead. Only 11 laps down, 29 left to go at Lernerville for the Apex Auto Glass Racing League.
And you take a look, Evan Say, he is up 10 spots from 13th. He's up into 2nd right now. He had to come all the way from the B main. He's running 2nd right now, trying to challenge Bergeron, but we got a 3-car battle for 2nd.
In 4th place, up 11 spots, also the 50th Timothy Smith. Some big movers and shakers as we're seeing some guys from the middle of the pack and the back of the pack making their way up to the front, with Bergeron still leading the way.
As you take a look at Tim Smith right now, he is running in that 4th spot. James Edens, he's in 3rd. Then it's Evan Say in that 2nd spot. They seem to calm down right now. Rumsey has fell back. He's fell all the way back from 6th. Boy, that was quick. He's falling like a lead balloon right now.
15 laps down, 25 left to go at Lernerville. Once again, 40 laps will complete our A feature. Bergeron, Shea, Edens, and Smith battle for the race lead. Shea had it for a minute. Caution is out on the speedway.
So we'll Alex Szerzynski involved in that one here. So this will be another caution for him. Oh, did he catch no, I thought he caught the wall there. We'll see as he comes. It looks like him and Clayton Tilley got together. Looks like Tilley had to check up, and Szerzynski couldn't really close up, and then got a couple of cars involved. There's 79 car involved. That looked to Daniel Boyd. He's involved in that wreck, as well as Clayton Tilley. So that might have been some of the cleanest racing we've seen all night long, but the bottom is there. I don't know what happened to Rumsey. He's just started to fall off.
Yeah, he showed everybody where to go, but then it kind of felt to me like coming out of turn, maybe in the middle of turns 3 and 4, he was getting up over the inside berm and kind of upsetting his car a little bit, and I don't know, maybe he caused some damage to it or what, but yeah, he started to fall back just shortly after showing everybody where the fast line was on the low side.
Rick York, what are you seeing down there?
I would almost agree with Dan right there. Rumsey kind of showed everybody where the line is, and you can kind of see that lighter strip along the bottom side of the racetrack, and that's kind of where all these drivers are aiming for right now. And I was really impressed with Edens, especially in turns 1 and 2. He was kind of able to run about a half car length off the edge of the racetrack. Well, everybody looks like they're almost trying to drive it off the edge of the racetrack. He's just kind of rolling it through the slip, and he's just as fast as the leaders as we go back to green.
Field hauls into turn 1. Bergeron, Shea, Eden, Smith, and Shell. That's your top 5 last time by.
Evan Shea looking on the bottom again. He's not coming off that bottom side right now, but that seems to be the place to be. He's challenged Bergeron for the lead off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Momentum seems to be up on the high side, but he's going to try again in turns 3 and 4.
He's going to use every horsepower that 410 cubic inch engine will give him, but it's just not enough as the high side will continue to dominate for Bergeron as we get 23 laps left to go and the field's down the backstretch.
I tell you what a battle we are having for that 3rd spot. We are 3 wide. That's Tyler Schell in the middle. 4 wide off of turn number 4. Tyler Schell's in there with Logan Rumsey, along with James Eden and Justin Sherman as well. He's making his way up through the field. Tim Smith is in that battle as well.
Man, 4-car battle for back in 3rd through 5th. This is exactly what we want to see with some green flag action. Hats off to these drivers as they are doing 3 wide, 4 wide around Lernerville. And we're seeing some great racing action as Shea has taken the race lead away from Bergeron.
You know, it's so hard. You want to call the right pass for the lead, but when you have guys going 3 and 4 wide into a corner, how do you pull away from that battle? But Shea goes down. He's in the grass. Bergeron takes the lead back. He loses a lot of momentum as they go back down. We were halfway this side by.
Yeah, just a little too low there for Shea, and now Smith is going to get by for second. Now Shea still working that low side, trying to get back by. He'll have the second spot. Now Shea's falling back to 4th.
So we'll see here Tyler Schell. He's ripping the lip around turns 3 and 4. Going to get around Shea as well. Tyler Schell's up into the podium spot again, so Bergeron better be ready. Oh, I wonder if Shell or Shay's car is starting to go away on him, Dan, because he has lost a lot of momentum now.
Yeah, it's the same thing we saw with Rumsey. Once you get a little bit too low, it's almost like the car just gets upset for a couple of laps. But now Rumsey has recovered. He's sitting in 6th. Shay's recovered back up to 4th. And back down to 5th now as Smith now battling for the race lead. And Smith's going to have it off turn 4. Bergeron's going to cross him over at the line. Bergeron gets it back.
Oh, Tim Smith and Tyler Schell get into it. Oh, I wonder if Smith looked like he got up into the wall. He will go up and over, out over the Berman 1 and 2 caution flag on the speedway. Wow, he had a great run on the high side. We'll go back a lap here. We'll see the replay here. And Dan, I tell you what a absolute fantastic battle. As this is a lap before here, Smith really closed the gap, and he was one of the hardest chargers, I think, so far tonight.
Yeah, Smith dives to the inside now, gets a big run on Bergeron, and ends up taking the race lead on the low side. Does a slide job. Bergeron crosses over, and now this is where we'll start to see the issue. Oh, yeah, definitely got into the outside wall right about at the line. And was that Edens that got into the back of him?
I think that was Shell. I think that
Okay.
might have been Tyler Shell that got in. So we'll have to see if that was a little bit of a net code thing, or was that involved into some kind of damage on Shell? Because sometimes if you get a net code, which for people that are watching this for the first time, what net code is when, if depending on how your internets are synced up, sometimes they don't get synced up perfectly, and it may cause it may look like you hit somebody, or the system may register it as you hitting somebody, but it actually doesn't. You actually never even were close to them. But that's sometimes the way the system goes. But it looks like Tyler Shell will be all right. Here we go again, boys. Shell and Bergeron on the front row. Drake York, I think it feels like deja vu, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and just looking at that replay, I thought Bergeron might have come up on Smith down the front stretch, but Smith got on the front stretch wall all by his lonesome. So an interesting incident to be sure, but absolutely deja vu as we're going to come back to the green flag. How will it shake out this week?
Ooh, Dan Taylor, did you see that? Shell did not get Bergeron much room, but Hill's going to lose a couple spots going in turns 1 and 2.
Shell's going to fall back. Edens will take over the second spot, and caution is back out. Gunnar Harris and Daniel Boyd bringing out our caution.
Well, okay, so they were a lot farther apart in that replay than what looked like the onboard camera there. And yeah, it looked like Gunnar Harris just went around. Daniel Boyd there. It looks like Harris had a little bit of help going around here, but caution flag is out. We'll get ready to go. We're only our 6th caution, so we're only halfway to last week's total, boys. Only halfway to that total. All right.
I'm curious to see here if Rumsey or he can come.
And so, man, when you let these guys go green, and we have a tough time keeping up with everything that's happening on the racetrack because there's 3, 4 wide, battles for the lead, battle for 5th. It's just amazing racing.
Absolutely. Sorry, Drake. What was that?
I was just going to say, looking at Rumsey kind of come back through this field as well as C, we talked about both of them having really strong runs on the bottom. I wonder if the bottom for them, obviously it works for a few laps, but can they sustain it? Can they keep it going for 15 laps if we go green to the rest of this race? So that's going to be one thing I'm going to be watching is they're lined back up and 2 Rumsey on the inside, C on the outside. Like I said, we saw both these guys just storm to the front and challenge for the lead, but they couldn't get by the bottom, and it still looks like there could be a little something left on the bottom. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially here on this restart.
You're right, Drake. And Dan, I want to bring this question up to you. As he said here, at the bottom, is starting to go away here. we're 14 laps away. Lap traffic may come into a factor here pretty quickly. It normally does here at the Lernerville Speedway. So if we do go to green to the end, like we could see here, like Drake said, lap traffic could be a factor here. So
Yeah,
somebody's
absolutely.
gonna have to give and take at some point here. So the bottom may have to be your best friend.
We'll come back to green this time out of turn number 4. Good start for Bergeron. Shell is going to be in that second spot. He'll go to the high side with Bergeron. Back down the low side is Rumsey.
Caution flag is out. A couple cars get together in turns 1 and 2. So it looks like Moyer was involved in that one as we get ready to take a look here at the OSRN replay. So a couple cars involved in that wreck there that looked to be, I believe Joe Howe might have been involved in that incident, as well as Szerzinski again. James Eden, no, James Eden, I don't think he was involved in that one. Okay, so it's going to be Trevor Myers was involved in that one.
Evan Shea is off the track.
Yeah, Evan Say, he's off the track, so that's definitely one of them. David Allen involved in that wreck as well. Just take a look again here. But I want to take a look at the restarts on this, guys, because if you notice on that last one there, Shell's not giving Bergeron much room, but Bergeron's been able to pull him. I almost wonder if Bergeron or Shell's getting kind of that loose stuff there that maybe the track hasn't either cleaned off there yet or hasn't taken too much rubber there, that there's not much grip up there and he's just blowing the tires right off.
We've kind of seen the bottom be the dominant line on restarts tonight, so it's not very surprising, but I think the top has got to be clean for sure. I can't really imagine there being a lot of loose stuff up there. Looking at that replay, it did a really good job of showing how slick 1 and 2 is. It's pretty much black top to bottom, but like I've been talking about, there's that thin little strip around the bottom that I think if you hit it right could really give you a good run off the corners. We're going to come back to green.
Yeah, Bergeron diving way down to the inside to get the momentum run off the corner, and he'll have the race lead. Holding on to that race lead in turns 1 and 2. He will go to the low side again in 1 and 2, and we'll have a caution again.
Ross Kreiser goes up and over, so that might put an end to his night as well. That looks like Szerzinski involved again. Boy, we've been saying his name a lot tonight for not a lot of great reasons. And Kreiser, he restarted here in the 5th spot. So talk about a fall from grace here, Dan. Lane Stevens involved in this as well as him and Rumsey got in contact there.
Yeah, just a little wheel hop there.
That's all it'll take. That little bit of a wheel hop will just screw you all up. So not much you could do on that. So Ross Kreiser in the pits here. Logan Rumsey also in there, but not much you can do. So we'll have to wait and see here if we will still say double file. If we're going to go single file restart. Yes, we are on 8th caution of the night. Once again, folks, thanks for joining us here tonight on OSRM. My name is Bert Wojcik. Alongside me is Dan Taylor and Drake York as well. And
all of a sudden,
I think I burped up dinner. That tastes a lot like Chipotle chicken.
Yum.
Oh, it was. Oh my god, it was fantastic. You know where I found the recipe for that?
No.
I found it on TikTok. I found a recipe on TikTok for that.
Something good came out of TikTok.
Something good came out of TikTok. It was air fried Chipotle chicken thighs, and it was fantastic. Oh my god, it was. Something good came out of TikTok. So mark that down, folks.
History has been made.
How about it?
We had tornadoes in the Midwest in the middle of December and a good TikTok recipe.
Drake York, you got anything to say to this shit show?
Not much.
I think he's distancing himself
from me on TikTok. Yeah,
I would.
I kind of stand off to the side and do my best.
Our producer Joe is now signing up for TikTok. Green flag is back out. 12 laps left to go.
Oh my god. Where are we? Oh, we're racing here. Has Bergeron. away from Tyler Shell. He's trying to close in. That's probably the best restart of the night for Bergeron. Logan Rumsey are side by side for a second there as they go into turns 1 and 2 again.
Rumsey is not giving up that low side, and Hannigan kind of following him around, working a little bit higher of a groove in 1 and 2. Goes to the high side in 3 and 4, and do we have a car on the exit of turn 4 in the wall?
I think that's a car coming out of the pits.
Okay. So not one of our race leaders. Bergeron, Shell, and Rumsey still your top 3 as Bergeron starting to pull away by about a second now as he exits turn number 4.
Double handful of laps to go in the air. 10 laps to go. One car up and over. That looked like the wall reached out and got Gunnar Harris again here, Dan. I thought we'd see this a lot more here tonight, but it's only been about the second or third time. Oh, I think Clayton Tilley might have fed him a right rear. It looked like Gunnar Harris, yes.
Get another replay here.
I think you're right there, Bert. It just kind of went out and snagged. I'd have to look at it again, but right, this is something we do see a lot here at Lernerville, the wing sprint cars, as we get a look at it once again.
So this is a lap
Next
before
coming up here.
So, but it looked like Clayton Tilley, and Drake, you might be able to see this as well from your vantage point. I think Clayton Tilley might have got a right rear in a Gunnar Harris there by accident.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was just the slightest. I don't think Tilley could have possibly known Gunnar was right there.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been just one of those racing incidents right there. And, with the sprint car, for starters, it's a very narrow viewpoint to begin with, but then you throw in that right side wing panel and it gets a little bit more narrow. And, in these cars, a lot of cars, you can't really see where the rear end is there. You get a great vantage point. That's kind of what I'm talking about. You can really only see about the front nose wing, a little bit to your left, and even less on your right because of that side panel hanging down. So there's no way Tilley could have known because that right rear is back behind the seat, and Tilley, like I said, just couldn't have known he was there.
Yeah, that car gets... Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
It kind of looked to me like it almost like Tilley was kind of setting up his line where they almost kicked that right rear out to set up their line.
Back to green flag here. Bergeron, good restart again on Shell. Where's Shell going to go? He's going to go up on the high side. Rumsey's going to go down there. Oh, Shell got a run on Bergeron, but not enough. That bottom side might be starting to be the line to go here as Bergeron slides up off of turn number 4.
I may be seeing things, but it almost looked like Bergeron diamond off turn number 2, and he's going to kind of do it a little bit here again, but they're going to be a side-by-side battle down the backstretch. Shell really starting to reel in our leader of Alex Bergeron.
So right now, your top 5 are going to be Alex Bergeron and Tyler Shell. Just as I say that, Shell takes the lead away from Bergeron. Shell slide up to the top. New leader, Tyler Shell, but Bergeron's coming right back on him.
Huge run off turn 4 did Shell have. He'll get it again. He'll cross over Bergeron. Bergeron will fall back into that second spot. Shell will regain the lead. 5 laps left to go.
Logan Rumsey and Mason Hannigan are involved in this battle. 4-car battle for the lead. Top 2 go to the bottom. They go onto the high side. They're everywhere. Bergeron slides all the way up. Him and Shell nearly make contact 4 laps ago.
If you're not standing in your seat, you've got ice water in your veins because I am shaking like you wouldn't believe. Shell with the race lead. Coming to 3 laps left to go. Bergeron trying to run him down. 0.3 of a disadvantage.
Tyler Shell trying to pull away from Alex Bergeron. It's almost the same. Oh, Bergeron goes over the berm. Alex Bergeron goes up and over. Oh.
Oh no, heartbreak 2 weeks in a row.
Oh man, Alex Bergeron, he leads the series in wins, but this is where it's going to cost him a championship. These DNFs or these late race cautions will absolutely bite you in the behind every chance they can as they go into turns 1 and 2, slides all the way up and just jumps the cushion by millimeters, but enough to send it up and over.
That's a
The interesting
heartbreaker.
about that is... Oh, go ahead, Dan.
No, that's all I had.
What's interesting, or what really stands out to me here about Bergeron's line, he was back in the work area. He kind of took I wouldn't call it a defensive line, but more of a precautionary line where you've seen these people absolutely on the edge of disaster on corner entry. He was at least a car length off the top side of the racetrack on corner entry right there. So that really surprises me. And, it's a little bit dark there off of turn number 2, so maybe could have misjudged where he was on the racetrack. But now looking at the top three, obviously you got Tyler Shell leading. How about Mason Hannigan? He's been in contention for most of this main event. He was right behind that battle. How about Shell, Bergeron, and Rumsey? And now with Bergeron off track, he just got around Rumsey. So now it's going to put the Pittsburgh, Indiana native back up in the third spot. And Rumsey has been plugging away at the bottom. Still in contention with this as we have 3 laps left to go in tonight's feature event.
There's going to be a green-white checker. Tyler Shell trying to defend his Pennsylvania name here, but the Little Hurricane Mason Hannigan involved here. What about Logan Rumsey, another Pennsylvania posse native? Back to green.
And Sherman up 17 positions to be in that 4th spot. Don't count him out. He's come from the back, I think, twice now. Been involved in an accident earlier tonight. Just 2 laps to settle it at Lernerville.
Good on Justin Sherman to hold off here. Now, battle for second between Rumsey and Hannigan. White flag is out this time by Tyler Shell. He had heartbreak last week at the Williams Grove Speedway. Nearly won the race here until Alex Bergeron had contact with him. Off of turn number 4, Tyler Shell picks up win number 2 here in the Apex Auto Glass 410 Sprint Car Series.
Mason Hannigan in second, Logan Rumsey in third, Justin Sherman with a nice 4th place finish, and Evans Say with your top 5.
What a battle toward the end of this race here, but Tyler Shell will add to his points lead. Alex Bergeron will be credited with a 10th place spot here, as there's your rundown from 22nd all the way up. Tyler Shell picking up the win. Good run for Mason Hannigan and Logan Rumsey. As well as your hard charge tonight will be Justin Sherman coming all the way up into the 4th spot from all the way back in the 20th spot. A fantastic battle for him. So as we get ready to get our top 3 down, Drake York, I think Tyler Shell's going to be a lot happier tonight than he was last week.
Absolutely. Last week, you think about going into turn number 1 at the Grove, a win in his sights, and gets tagged by Bergeron in the guardrail. And, I'm sure that had to be running through his mind the last few laps of this race, because he put himself pretty much in the same position. Unlike Williams Grove, though, he wasn't really the controlling car of this race. He didn't have control of the event start to finish, but it counted. He was up at the front contending for the win, and ultimately when Bergeron made his mistake right there, I think Shell basically knew that this was his race to win or lose, and ultimately he gets the job done here at the Grove for the 3rd time in his career here with the Apex Series.
Well, it looks like we got Mason Hannigan. He's the first one into the lane. So when we talk to our 2nd place finisher here, the Little Hurricane, Mason Hannigan.
Yeah, we'll bring in Mason here. And Mason, what a run for you. Been a bit of a struggle the last few weeks. So how great is it to get on the podium here at Lernerville?
Yeah, I didn't even think we were going to finish that one after we got pinched on the 2nd lap there. We got the front end ran over, and in real life, you would not be able to do that. But went in, got a quick fix, and started 22nd there, and just kind of picked my way through the field, even though half the field wrecked for me. So that obviously helped. So once I got up to Alex and Tyler, I didn't really know what to do with it because I'm never up that far. So it was really good to run up front there. So unfortunate for Alex to finish that way, but other than that, finally good finishing for us.
Absolutely. And said this is your best run in quite a few weeks with the Apex Series, and you mentioned you got up to Tyler there and didn't quite know what to do. What was running through your mind there coming to green with that green-white checkered?
Yeah, I knew I needed a good restart, but I just didn't. I was trying to watch his arms move, and he twitched them a little too fast for me, and I just kind of lit him up at the. I needed a throttle stop on that one, so just kind of lit him up there, and kind of half spun. I'm surprised I didn't get KO'd there, but sometimes you're probably a little bit lucky tonight, but you'll have that. So happy to run 2nd, and good one to Tyler.
Absolutely. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yes, sir. Black Knight Motorsports, Tim Sims, Fads Eyewear, UDTV, Velocity Race Designs, all the boys at Apex, and we'll be back next week at Knoxville, so we'll see where we stack up again.
Mason Hannigan, runner-up here tonight in Lernerville. A solid run for the Pittsburgh, Indiana native. Bring up Logan Rumsey now. Logan, for most of that race, you were plugging away at the bottom. Probably one of the best cars, if not the best cars, running the bottom side of the racetrack. Kind of the first guy to find it. So what was it like just driving through the field once you found the bottom?
Yeah, I set up for the bottom before the race, so I just knew I had to run the bottom all 40 laps. I couldn't run the top at all. So I was just hoping it would stay in. I kind of went away there in the middle of the race. I think Evan C. was still way faster on the bottom. He probably would have won the race if he didn't wreck.
How frustrating is it kind of for you to, I guess, one of the best cars on the bottom side of the racetrack for most of that race, but not really be able to do anything with the leaders at the end?
Yeah, I knew the bottom was good. It's really hard to hit, and when you hit it perfect, you're kind of even with them, but it's hard to hit it perfect every lap.
Anybody you like to pick for tonight?
Yeah, it's Josh for putting up the league, and you guys for broadcasting.
Logan runs. He's third place, bottom step of the podium here tonight. And we'll now bring up our winner, Tyler Schell. Tyler, I think the obvious question is, how good does this one feel after heartbreak last week at the Grove?
Feels great. I didn't get wrecked by the 12th car, so that's always a good sign. He ended up just stepping on his dick, and yeah.
Well, you mentioned Alex Bergeron, and coming down to the end of the race, it looked like it was going to be another showdown between you two. What was kind of, your thought process as you're racing and sliding the 12 car in the closing laps?
I just wanted the race to go green. I knew I was faster than him. I just had to keep the race go green because I think that caution, like at 32, I was starting to catch him, and caution came out, and just had to get a pretty good restart just to be able, so I didn't have to much. And I think he screwed up in 1 and 2, and really didn't have too much more to gain, like time wise, and then was able to slide him in 1 and 2 and just do a slider battle, and just I was able to clear him then, and then yeah.
This is your third win with the Apex Series here at Lernerville. What really suits your style here?
It honestly is like the opposite of what I like to do. I like to roll the bottom, and here I just feel really comfortable trying to roll the top, and it's really felt good to me doing it. So that's what I was going to stick to, and I hope it never went away.
Anybody you'd like to thank for your victory here this evening?
Yep, just like to thank all of you guys for putting this race on. And then I was up SimSport, and then our sponsors, Personal Evolution Company, More Than Tires, School Sim Racing, Play Racing, and we've go.
It's Tyler Schell, your points leader, extends his advantage with a win here at Lernerville. That's going to do it down here on the podium.
Oh my God! Dan and I are up here just laughing our behinds off. Oh, Tyler, never a boring interview.
That is one of the best post-race interviews I've ever heard.
From the winner too. That's in Pennsylvania, boys. I tell you what,
that's never heard a Team-Ez interview.
Yeah, or a Danny Dietrich interview. You never heard either one of those, have you, Dan?
I have not.
I tell you what.
Oh,
let me sit those two down side. Robert Ballou. Robert Ballou's a good one for that one too.
Ballou's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, that was great. Oh. All right. Well,
but what a way to cap off. I mean, a great interview after an amazing night of racing, a well-deserved win. Just great job for Tyler, and my kudos goes off to him for putting a little spice into the interview.
So, do you think Bergeron's going to get a Christmas card from Tyler Schell this year?
I'm interested to see what happens next week at Knoxville.
I think there might be a middle finger involved in that Christmas card there and that postcard. So yeah. So now next week we are definitely off to the Dingus and then to the Knoxville Raceway. And I tell you what, Knoxville's is a lot wider than what Lernerville is. But I tell you what, boys, the action I think will be just the same as this battle and this rivalry between Tyler Schell and Alex Bergeron continues to build up.
This is going to be a good one to watch. The top two guys are definitely going at it, and they're throwing shade the best they can. Hard feelings and some harsh words is just going to keep this spark going all season long.
Exactly, and you kind of heard Tyler talk about it in his interview there when he's racing and sliding Bergeron for the lead, and I was just surprised more than anything to see Bergeron make a mistake like that, especially when it appeared he wasn't really pushing that hard. You know, like I say, he kind of ran that defensive line almost into turns 1 and 2, kind of I'd say about a car length off the top side of the racetrack, and still managed to drive over the edge. So it was surprising, but most definitely we got a great rivalry here with these two.
It's only going to keep building up here. So, boys, I guess we're going to pack up this circus and we're going to take it off to Knoxville. So we'll see you guys next Thursday night at the Knoxville Raceway as, this continues. I think this is going to be a fantastic rivalry. This is going to be a great battle to the finish, but Tyler Schell, his consistency pays off again. He picks up his second win of the season here tonight with the Apex Autoglass 410 Sprint Cars and by B&B Race Simulator. So that'll do it for everyone here at the Lernerville Speedway. For Drake York, Dan Taylor, our executive producer tonight, Joe White, my name is Bert Wojcik. We'll see you guys next week off in Iowa. Once again, congratulations to Tyler Schell on the win here at Lernerville.